Namaste. I was asked a question yesterday. Why, Dr. Ananda, should we do the techniques of yoga 3 times? Why not any number of times? This is a question that many people have when they think of yoga as something you do. Yoga is not something that you just do. You have to live it, you have to experience it. And for that to happen, we need to understand the strength in the number 3. The number 1 signifies the seeding, the planting. Number 2 is where the roots occur, the associations catch deep. And it's only in the number 3 that the sprouting and the manifestation occurs. Seeding, rooting or associations and manifestation. When we do the practices the first time, we are seeding the practice in our own essence. When we do it the second time, that practice is starting to get a foothold in us. It is setting out roots in us. And then the third time we do it is where the manifestation of that practice comes alive in us. The number 3 is very important because the trinity of Eastern and Western cultures has understood the power of 3. You have Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, you have Durga, Lakshmi, Saraswati, and even in the Western traditions, there are numerous concepts of the 3 coming in. From a yogic and Vedantic point of view, it can also be said that we have 3 levels of existence. The gross, the sthula sharira, the second is the subtle or astral sukshma sharira, and then of course the most important one, the karana or linga sharira, the causal existence. So you have the gross, the subtle and the causal. As I have said before, the whole mechanisms of yoga are somato-psychic, using the lower to influence the higher, and the benefits of yoga are psychosomatic, coming down from the causal, subtle and gross. So the efforts we make are gross. So the first effort we make in that practice, technique for example, would be at the gross level. We experience what the body feels like. The second level is we start to have the subtle experience, what the breath feels like, what the mind feels like, what type of attitudes are brought out. And then the third time is where we actually get to the essence, the causal layer of that practice. Sthula, Sukshma and Karana are the 3 layers that we are working on. So when we work the first layer, second level and third layer, then the practice can come back to us in its bountiful manifestation. Another concept to keep in mind is that the number 3 is the basic unit that then can multiply into 6 and 9. And 9 as the completeness, a number of completeness that then in its cycles of 9, 18, 27, going into 54 up to 108, and well all the way to 1008 if you want to keep that beautiful number of Indian culture. So when you do the practice a minimum of 3 times, it is like the 3 is one component of 3 3s that make up the 9. So you are setting into motion through that 3 times you do a practice, that 9 cycle that then influences the 18, 27, 54, 108, and you are setting off a ripple effect. Like when you throw a stone into the water, there is that first ripple and then it becomes bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and becomes from gross to more and more subtle that you stop seeing it, but it still exists. This is why the yoga practices should be done 3 times, of course. You can always do it 6 and 9 depending on the practice and the time and effort involved. Wishing you all a wonderful time doing the practice, affecting through consciousness the gross, subtle and causal layers of your existence, and thus being blessed by yoga where that experience comes alive in every one of your trillions of cells, physically, physiologically, psychologically, intellectually, and finally, universally. Namaste.